might not realise it, but the Iran we know today from the news has only been around for less than a century. For most of its 9,000 years, it was Persia and enjoyed a reign at the top of the ancient world along with the Greeks and Romans. Since the Islamic Revolution in the late 70s, it's been hard to tell fact from fiction in Iran, but now you can come and see for yourself.
Recently, Iran has once again opened its doors to tourism. So if you're thinking of making the trip, you'll probably start here in Tehran. What's the place like? Well, it's no shrinking violet. It's a big, huge, slightly dirty mega city that's full of things to see and do.
Iran has Iraq on one side and Afghanistan on the other, so it's in a pretty dicey part of the world. All roads, and there are heaps of them, lead to Tehran. With a population of around 8 million, it's one of the biggest cities in the Middle East. There is a very visible police presence, but the place isn't as intimidating as you might expect. Probably the scariest thing is the traffic.
Traffic is just about world's worst. With petrol running at about 50 cents a litre, everybody can afford to be out on the road, and there's over 2 million cars in the city. And the one thing they've got in common, they all think they have the right of way.
Iran hasn't tried to reinvent itself to attract Western visitors. There are no theme parks or mega malls. It's an authentic travel experience, warts and all. There's no escaping the fact you're in a Muslim country and the customs that go with it. Men have to wear long pants, and even Western women must be covered from head to toe in public. Religion is a big part of people's daily lives, and the best way to see that in action is by visiting a mosque.
A fair portion of each weekend is dedicated to prayer, and this gathering behind me is at the Tehran University. They'll be here for about 4 hours.
Over 10,000 worshippers come to pray at this mosque, with the women separated from the men. Security is tight, 7 checks just to get in, and although it's open to the public, if you're not here to pray, make sure you're very respectful and leave your shoes at the door. If you're only in Tehran for a couple of days, most of what you want to see is in South Tehran, and that includes the Golestan Palace. This is a prime example of the luxury that once existed here, like an Iranian version of the Palace of Versailles. The courtyard alone contains more than 50,000 hand-painted tiles that tell the tale of the Persian Empire.
About 150 years ago, Nasser al-Din Shah spent a fair bit of time in Europe. Now, he obviously liked what he saw because he came home with a whole head full of plans for his own palace. And what he constructed was the tallest building in the ancient city of Tehran. He liked it so much, he never left.
Today, the palace is a museum, and most of it is still being restored. The Diamond Hall gets its name from the mirrorworks that cover the walls and ceiling. It was used for official receptions and gives you a glimpse of how lavish the royal lifestyles must have been. The The best place to mingle with the locals is just across the road at the Tehran Bazaar, which is regarded as the largest bazaar in the world. It employs more than 1 million people and controls a third of the entire country's cash flow. The people here are extremely friendly and surprisingly speak pretty good English. But many are still wary of the Western media and are reluctant to talk on camera. That was until carpet trader Mahmoud smelt a sale and offered to show us around.
So where are we here?
Yeah, excuse me, here is the center of the bazaar.
Yeah.
Center of the bazaar, everybody, if they like it, to go in the north of bazaar, south, east, west. They come here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So north, south. How far can you go that way?
2 kilometers.
2 kilometres that
This
way?
is about 3 kilometers, 4
Three.
kilometers. Yeah, 1 kilometer.
1 kilometre.
And this is about half kilometer.
Dead centre. So
Center,
1 million
yeah.
people.
Exactly.
Okay.
For the gold market, silver market, also this way carpet market, handicraft, and this way a spice market.
Okay. So gold, silver carpets that way.
A city within a city. Each suburb in the bazaar can specialise in anything from nuts to electronics. And, of course, Persian rugs.
We have 1 million people. They made carpet by hand.
Yeah. And
Like
this is a handmade?
Exactly.
How can I tell if I go in? How can I tell?
Between hand and,
And
machine made.
yeah,
Handmade, look, this part and this part same design
Yep.
and same colors.
Yes.
But machine make on the back is the light colors.
Okay.
It's not same colors.
For some time out, grab a cup of the national drink. This is easier than you think because there are more tea houses in Tehran than there are pubs in Perth.
Now the Iranians love their tea. I don't drink alcohol, so after a meal, this is like their little drink wind down. I've never had Iranian tea this way. Ares, you're going to have to show me how to drink it with
Yeah, you should take 1 sugar,
Yep.
yeah, like this. Put it in your mouth.
Yeah. In the tea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drink it.
So you drink through it.
Yes, it's good.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Very sweet, and that cube's almost gone.
Yes.
When it comes to accommodation, the Lale is one of the few 5-star hotels around. It was built as the Intercontinental and is in a good part of South Tehran with some great views of the city.
If it gets all too much for you in the city, you can escape to the mountains for the weekend, which happens to be a Thursday and Friday, and they're only 30 minutes away.
There are heaps of good garden restaurants in the town of Rayna that all specialise in the local delicacies.
And when you come up here, you must try having lunch just as the locals do. This restaurant's called Obshar, and this is a Shandiz Shizlik. As you can see, it's lamb cutlets on a skewer. Fantastic.
Everything's a bit more relaxed out of town, especially for the women, who seem much more at ease than in Tehran. A holiday to Iran takes some effort, not just getting here, but pushing aside your preconceived ideas and allowing yourself to absorb the light and shade of a foreign but fascinating culture. Tehran is the capital of Iran. World Expeditions has an 11-day Best of Iran tour departing Tehran, including accommodation, most meals, guides, internal flights, entrance fees, private transport and transfers for $3,190 per person, twin share. Emirates' flights to Tehran starting at $1,693 from Melbourne, $1,841 from Perth, $1,862 from Brisbane and $2,009 from Sydney.